Hello my friends, and welcome to the channel for another Escape From Tarkov video. The absolute mad lads at Battlestate Games have swooped down from the heavens on their vodka-fueled chariots of the gods to make some massive changes to the availability of high-tier ammo and attachments from the traders. And I'm here to spread the word and go into a bit of a discussion on why I'm hyped about this change, but also to cover some of the potential issues with this shakeup as well. Because I don't believe anything is truly only positive or negative. In this video, I'll be covering the changes and then talking about both why I like these changes and the possible problems that I see with their implementation. To make a long story short, basically every kind of top tier ammo that wasn't already removed from the traders has now been removed from the traders or moved up to max level traders. 762x39 BP, 308 M61, M995, PS12B, and 9x21 BT have all been completely removed from the traders, while M80, M62, and 45 AP rounds have been moved up to level 4 Peacekeeper. They've also restricted flea market sales of M80, PS12B, and 9x21 BT on the flea market. M855 A1 ammo has also been removed from Skier, but I do believe that you can still buy it from Peacekeeper level 4. I've also heard that 300 Blackout AP ammo has been removed from the traders, but I can't check on this myself, so I'm just relaying what I've read. In addition to this, the Voodoo and Vortex 6x scopes have been removed from the traders for ruble purchases. And at least one new craft for AP-SX MP7 rounds has been added to the workbench. So as you can see, the easy availability of a lot of the game's best ammo is slowly but surely coming to an end, at least when it comes to just being able to purchase the stuff straight up with rubles. Now, why do I think this is overall a good change? Well, first off, this probably means we won't have to spend the next 6 months getting tapped by 762 BP, which is a blessing all by itself. But in all seriousness, Tarkov is a game with over 100 weapons. I counted them today, and there's something like 112 weapons in Tarkov. Yet because it was so obviously easier to acquire good ammo for about 10% of those weapons, that 10% became 90% of what we saw out in the raid after about 2 months into the wipe. Basically, the ability to purchase and craft large amounts of certain ammo types compared to only a small amount or none of other ammo types created a meta where the weapons most players used was decided by what ammo type could pen level 5 armor and be stockpiled in large amounts. Of course, there are deeper reasons, like the fact that weapons such as the RD704, the flagship 762 BP cannon, have hidden recoil modifiers that made them laser beams even in full auto. But the fact remains that without easy access to BP ammo, even the RD704 is going to take a lot more finesse to use effectively. By removing such easy access to top tier ammo, we'll hopefully see a shift towards mid-tier ammo becoming the normal thing that you see in raid, which if true, should kind of even the playing field between weapon classes and calibers. If you can buy a round like 762 BP straight from the traders, stuff like 56A1 or 545 BT holds no value to you, because you can buy an objectively better ammo in large enough quantities to make the other ones pointless. When you can't just click on the trader and easily purchase an ammo that negates 95% of armor in the game, suddenly mid-tier ammo becomes more attractive again, and sleeper calibers like 76254R with its various high penetration rounds starts to look pretty hot. There's also the fact that a little thing called leg meta exists in Tarkov, and it has always been the ultimate Chad killer. Your legs really do not care how much that ult and helmet cost you. It still only takes 1,000 rubles worth of ammo to bring someone down by shooting out their knees. Overall, to me, I'm just hoping that now players will be encouraged to use a wider variety of weapons and ammo types, because suddenly the playing field has been reset, and it's not such an obvious choice as to what is objectively the best thing to use. Now, of course, we also shouldn't try and act like these changes mean that AP ammo is just gone from Tarkov or won't be used, because that is simply not the truth. There's still various crafts for AP ammo at the workbench. There's still barter trades for BS ammo from Proper. Some purchases left for M62 and 55A1 once you get max traders, and there's the often forgotten fact that you can actually find quite a lot of AP ammo out in the raid from various different sources. Raiders and rogues can drop AP and mid-tier ammo, and are very farmable. Scab bosses and cultists are very good sources of AP ammo from their loaded mags, and while not as farmable as rogues, they do still exist and will be a sought-after source of good ammo. 5.45 BS and Igolnik rounds can be found in 120 count ammo boxes on many maps. And if anyone ever bothers to loot the green and tan ammo boxes, you can often find stacks of good ammo in those things too. My point here is that good ammo still exists and will always exist in Tarkov, but now, holy hell, we actually have to play the game and go find it instead of just clicking buy all at proper and filling up our ammo cases. We might have to change up our looting habits, and more players are definitely going to have to start running half and half mags with top loaded AP rounds, but we can still find these ammo types. Now, the other big restriction that dropped with this latest update is removing the 1-6 Vortex and Voodoo scopes from the traders. Now, don't get me wrong, I feel the sting of this one just as hard as anybody else, because these scopes were undeniably the best optics in Tarkov. But once again, that's kind of exactly the problem. Because these two scopes are so much better than any of the other scopes, and arguably even better on the one-time setting than a red dot sight, they became just standard issue for pretty much every single build you would ever make after you unlocked them. This caused two things. First, every gun build looked and played the same. You have max effectiveness at all ranges all the time, all benefits, no downsides for a pretty cheap price and instant availability. By restricting these scopes, it accomplishes two things. First, it means players might actually be pushed to try out one of the other 10 plus pretty solid magnified optics in the game, which creates variety, and variety is the spice of life. Second, and this is a bit of a hypothetical, it might mean that we see less players with the ability to control all ranges of an engagement at all times, meaning maneuvering and positioning in a way that works for your build will be more important. So potentially we might see fights play out differently since everyone isn't running the same top tier scopes all the time. Alright, so now that I've laid out some reasons I think these changes are pretty good, now I'm going to balance it out from the other side, on why these changes might be a little short-sighted, at least here in the short term. First of all, Tarkov is a long-term game. A lot of us will be playing this wipe for 6 months, and some people have the willingness to play for 8 or more hours a day. It's just a simple fact that over time, the more you play, the more you will loot, and over time I definitely see a lot of players making it a mission to stockpile so much found in raid ammo that they effectively won't be restricted by not being able to buy it. Now honestly, I don't necessarily see this as a pure negative, so much as an inevitable outcome. If you play a lot, you should be rewarded in some way, and I think farming AP ammo is going to become a standard thing to do at high levels now. Personally, I like this. I think Tarkov is at its most fun when you need to find things, and adding a new priority to what we're going to need to farm is going to create new strategies and make people play maps and locations they otherwise might not. However, for all the players that either can't or don't want to invest lots of time into farming ammo, late wipe these restrictions might start to really hit home. This will be especially true if BSG doesn't also do similar hits to the types of armor that we can reliably get every raid. In some ways, I think it's cool that heavy class 5 armors like the Reddit or the Gen 4 might actually feel a lot more useful overall. But if we can still buy or trade for it very easily at high levels, I do kind of worry that we're entering a new era of super tank loadouts to outclass all the low-level players who now can't easily get some of the ammo that would be used to counter that heavy armor. That being said, it also might just mean that more mid-level players will need to start running stuff like SVDs with SNB ammo to hard counter the prevalence of heavy armor. I also think P90s and MP7s with mid-tier ammo will still feel really good, because they make up for low overall pen with the ability to nail 5 shots in the same spot very quickly. Another counterpoint I have to this ammo nerf is something that I've been moaning about for ages. It's not just about the ammo and the weapon, because for a lot of weapons in Tarkov, they just don't feel satisfying to use anymore regardless of what ammo they're loaded with. Take 5.56 rifles for example. Even with M995 or 55A1, the 416, G36, and even the AUG are just not really satisfying to shoot. The recoil patterns and camera recoil are just insane, and it's hard to make follow-up hits even at somewhat close range in full auto. Same thing with 9mm SMGs like the MP5 and the MPX, and basically any gun in Tarkov that fires faster than 650 RPM. The recoil system is just wild right now, and it has been for over a year. And it's half the reason that people have gravitated so hard towards BP guns and 308 rifles. slow firing weapons and semi-auto guns are just way easier to hit people with in this game, regardless of their ammo. So while it's all well and good that 56A1 ammo looks more attractive to us, it's still gonna suck to run it through an HK416, and most people would rather use an RD704 with PS ammo than an HK with 56A1 if it means they can hit their follow-up shots. On this same line of thinking, the scope restrictions are equally as much of a double-edged sword. Yes, it's cool that people might have to use other scopes now, but so many of the scopes in Tarkov have FOV issues, reticle issues, or magnification issues that make them annoying or just impractical to use. Hell, the hammer scope has been in the game for over 4 years, and you can still see the white pixels around the edges of the reticle from where they missed a couple spots while they were cutting the reticle out of a JPEG in Photoshop. Hopefully, this change will push BSG to do a fuller rework on optics if they're gonna continue to restrict them. But for now, we're just gonna have to find some new favorite scopes. Well, that kinda covers it for these latest ammo and attachment restrictions, and a look into my perspective on why it's both a pretty good thing, but also how it's gonna cut both ways and potentially have some negative outcomes as well. Overall, we're gonna have to wait and see how this all plays out. It might really shake things up, it might just delay the BP meta by 2 months, and we won't know until we know. But what do you think? Are you happy that 7.62 BP has finally been dethroned? Does M80 really deserve to be a Peacekeeper level 4? What other ammo crafts should be added to the workbench now that we can't buy some of these ammo types? Thanks for checking out the video. I've got links to my Twitch stream and Discord server down below for anyone interested. And until next time, stay safe in Tarkov City.